Hi, and thank you for joining today. If this happens to be your first time here, my name is Rachel, and I blog at thislovelylittle.farmhouse.com. And I am so ridiculously excited to make this video today because we're talking about what I'm planting in the garden this year and just kind of some of my goals for my garden this year. I have really gotten into gardening lately. I'm super excited about it. There's something just, I don't know, I can't even explain it, about planting a seed and waiting for it to germinate and pop through the soil and just watching it as it grows, and then planting it in your garden that you grew from a seed and watching it grow throughout the season, harvesting produce from it, and then eating that produce months from now. It's just, I don't know, it's hard to even explain the feeling, but it's euphoric. Like, it gives you this high, kind of, I think. It's addicting. And I also have a seed buying addiction, which you will see. So let's get into what I'm going to plant this year, and good stuff. So this is my seed bucket. One of these days, which this is working fine, but one of these days I'm going to get one of those really cool photo storage containers that people put their seeds in, because I think that'll be awesome. But this is working for now, so I'm not spending more money than I have to. So right now I'm fixing to start this week, like probably tomorrow, planting my summer seeds. It is January 24th, and in my climate, I'm in zone 8B, like right on the edge of zone 8B, 9A. So at this climate, it's time to plant the summer vegetables, because they'll be going in the ground around the end of March. And it's also, I'm still gonna plant a few more winter vegetables, because in our climate, our winter things grow in the fall, winter, and spring, and we still have a little bit of time to grow some more fall things. So for my summer things that I'm fixing to start planting, I have a whole bunch of tomatoes, and some of these are new and some of the ones I planted last year. So the ones that I planted last year that I'm growing again, Sunrise Bumblebee. I was disappointed with these. I'm gonna give them another try. And the reason I was disappointed with them was, for one thing, I had a really hard time telling when they were ripe. And then also the flavor on them was majorly lacking. And it could have been something to do with our garden. They had really good reviews. All the other people love the flavor on them. So I'm hoping it was just a fluke. I'm gonna give them another try this year. Beefsteak tomatoes. These also were another one that didn't do super good for me last year. I'm gonna give them another try just because it's such a really good tomato, but for whatever reason they didn't do very good in my garden last year. Also, I get all of my seeds, almost all of my seeds, from Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. They have obviously heirlooms. And one of the things I really love about Baker Creek is that it's kind of like the Amazon of seeds, because people can go on there and leave reviews. So I can read what other people say about them, and also a lot of times they'll leave their zone or their growing climate or where they are, which is super helpful for trying to figure out what grows in your area well. So I love Baker Creek. They have free shipping. And they always send you a free seed packet, which is super cool, because a lot of times, I mean, you'll find a new favorite thing from the free seed packet. So that's neat too. Green Zebra. This was one I had a really hard time at the beginning figuring out when it was ripe, and I was pretty bummed about it for the get-go. It turned out being one of my best producing tomatoes for one reason, because the guineas left it alone. Our guineas are free range, and they got in my garden and tore up my tomatoes so badly. But I guess they didn't think these were ripe, and they totally left them alone. I dried a bunch of these last year. I didn't find the fresh flavor to be spectacular, but they were one of my most producing tomatoes, and I dried a whole bunch of them last year. So I'm planting these again. Cherokee Purple. Cherokee Purple is a fantastic tomato. I had a lot of problems with these cracking and splitting last year, because we got a lot of rain, which is typical for us, but I did have a lot of problems with these cracking, so I didn't get a whole bunch of them. Beefsteak. Tappy's Heritage was my favorite red tomato that I grew last year. They tasted really good. I like more of a tart tomato taste, not necessarily a sweeter one. These to me had a perfect tomato flavor. They made well. They didn't crack that bad. So these were my favorite that I grew last year, actually. Pantano Romanesco. This was one that had rave reviews, and I didn't get hardly any fruit off of this one. I don't know if it was my soil, my climate, I don't know what it was, but this one was another one that didn't do real well for me. Heritage tomatoes are kind of hit or miss. They're not like improved, and the hybrids you definitely have, I feel like a lot more, they're a lot easier to be successful with, but I really wanted Heirloom, so. Mortgage Lifter was another good one. I liked it. It is more, to me it was a sweeter tomato, so it wasn't my favorite flavor, but it did produce fairly well. So Mortgage Lifter. And I have another cherry tomato. I don't know where it is. I guess I'll find it. Roselle, something like that, was another cherry tomato that I grew last year. I don't know where it is, but maybe it got stuck in this one. Here it is, Rosella. This was my pretty much my best producing cherry tomato of last year. And it did have really good flavor, and it did produce really, really well. Now it did split. If we got a heavy rain, they would all crack, but it was a good one. I was pleased with it. I'm growing it again this year. And on to the new ones. So, as you can see, I have a problem. So, and I picked these based off of reviews, where people said they were growing them at successfully, and how they tasted. We shall see. Missouri Pink Love Apple. Had good reviews. Oh, and so the other thing about my tomatoes is I have this vision of, I don't know if you've ever been to like the store and they have the little, whatever those little baskets are of the heirloom tomatoes, the heirloom cherry tomatoes. It's like all the different colors and all the different kinds. I want that. Like, I want to grow that. So that dictated a lot of my tomato purchases this year, because I got a lot of different heirloom color and shape cherry tomatoes. So I don't know how you say this one. Reisentraub. It's a little bit bigger than a cherry tomato, but smaller than a regular tomato. Hartman's Yellow Gooseberry. So I'll have to do some updates during the summer and tell y'all how these are growing. Tomatillo tomato. That's a cherry tomato. Purple Bumblebee. I'm hoping this one will be better. Maybe be able to tell better when it's ripe. So, Purple Bumblebee tomato.
I like this kind.
Do you?
Yeah, I might try it.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'd be yummy.
Paul Robinson. This one had really, really good reviews, so I am hopeful about it. It's a smaller tomato, but not a, I think it's a smaller one.
I think I might like these potatoes.
You will.
Yeah.
7 to 8 ounces, so not a huge tomato.
These potatoes are really yummy.
Yeah.
I bet I'll like them.
I bet so.
Yeah.
Wood's Famous Brimmer.
Ooh, yum.
A good red tomato. Hopefully it'll perform well.
Oh, I think I'll like those yellow ones.
I think so. Yellow pear tomato. This is another cherry tomato.
Yum.
Tomato, spoon tomato. Some of these, this one was just a novelty. They're like micro, teeny tiny tomatoes, but supposedly like bursting with flavor. So excited to try these. And then Sweetheart cherry tomatoes, which these are another really sweet one. And a lot of these I'm planning on trying to dry them in my dehydrator to have for like salads and things like that, pasta throughout the year.
I might like these.
You probably will. Here, leave them sitting there. Okay, and then tomatillos. I grew this variety last year and it did well, and there's tons of seeds, so I didn't buy any new tomatillos. Gonna grow some of these because my husband loves green salsa. We're gonna try to make some green salsa this year.
Do I like green salsa?
Yes. All right, next up is peppers. So that's all the tomatoes. I'm telling y'all, I don't know what I'm gonna do with all these. We're gonna have to find somewhere to plant all these things. peppers. And all except for one of these I grew last year. So actually, y'all, I still have a few more seeds coming, so this isn't even a complete look at what I'm planting this year. Okay, so jigsaw peppers. These were a really cute purple ornamental pepper, but they're spicy also. Eric liked them a lot, and I'll probably try to pickle some this year. Jalapenos. This is Craig's Grande jalapeno. It performed super well. We always have good success with our hot peppers. Our hot peppers and our okra grow better than anything else we ever plant. They're like the most hardy plants you can imagine. Banana peppers, orange bell peppers, these Brazilian starfish peppers. These things made and made and made, and the plants got huge. They were like higher than my waist. And these things, we didn't get our first frost until like 3 weeks ago, something like that. It was it was into January before we got our first frost. I was picking these peppers in January. So, California Wonder red bell pepper. This Phileas blue pepper. Now, this was the one Baker Creek seed pack from last year that I had a lot of problems with. I got some of them to germinate. They died. I couldn't get any more of them to germinate. I'm going to try them this year, but I don't have real high hopes. It's a ornamental pepper. They're hot, so, and they produce like fun colors. Lipstick pepper. We had some issues with our peppers last year. They got cut with the weed eater, but I'm really excited about these. I don't know if y'all have ever gotten from the grocery store those little tiny peppers, sweet peppers, but this is what those are. So I'm really excited about them. And this was my new pepper for this year. It's a Pippin's Golden Honey Pepper.
Ooh, yum.
And it just sounded interesting. I'm a sucker for things that are like novelty, unique, interesting. I'm trying to rein it in, but I'm excited to try these Pippin's Golden Honey Peppers. All right, so moving on. That's tomatoes and peppers. And now for beans, I typically do green beans. It's a big crop for us. They grow really well. They're easy to preserve. We can them. So I always get just some standard Contender, Blue Lake green beans from our local co-op. They're cheap. They're $1.69 for a 4-ounce pack. And we planted a huge long row and had extras. So that's what I am going to get some more of this year. And then also, what was this? This is another Blue Lake. And Mississippi Pink Eye Purple Hull Peas. These grew really well too. Hopefully they'll germinate again. If not, I'll just get some more. But we get those locally from our local co-op. I did get some to try from Baker Creek as well. Red Ripper Cowpea is one that I saw good things about. And these are some of the just novelty things that I think look cool. So Taiwan Yard Long Beans. I'm going to try those this year. And Chinese red noodle beans. I did try these last year, but I didn't get them trellised in time. So it was a huge, huge mess. So hopefully I can get these trellised from the get-go this year and not end up with that big mess. This was some seeds I saved from last year. As far as okra goes, I saved my own okra seed from my previous year. Okra is one of the easiest things to do that with. You just leave the pods on the plant, let them dry, and then take them out and pull the pods apart and the okra seeds come out. So this is our okra, and I don't know what variety it is. My grandfather got some from a man who said it was an heirloom variety. We like it, but I don't know what the variety is. And I also got some Jing orange okra to try, just as a, novelty item. Another novelty item. These just look so cool. Mexican sour jerkin. I've seen them called cucamelons, so I'm going to try some cucamelons this year. And if they are good and we like them, I'm probably going to try to pickle some, because Eric loves pickled things. Both of my children love pickled things. I think they would really like these pickled. And I got some cucumbers, a few different varieties of cucumbers. And I did try these two last year. Last year, my cucumbers did not do well at all. I tried planting them along our fence where we have not had our garden before. We didn't have things planted there. So I think The soil was bad. It wasn't improved in any way. And then also the deer came and ate them from the opposite side of the fence. My pawpaw, Eric's pawpaw, at his garden, that's where I got that idea from, because he has planted his cucumbers along his fence, and I mean, it was like a cucumber jungle. And he has deer that come to his house every single night and eat. He puts out corn for them, so I don't know why they didn't demolish his. Maybe he just had so many more plants. But, so Suyo long cucumber, China Jade cucumber, and then this is the new one, Jibai Shimoshirazu, however you say that. Those are the 3 I'm trying this year. I'll also have Boston pickling cucumber. So if these all do good, might end up doing some fermented pickles. So some eggplant. I have a ping tongue. And a lot of these things, like I have multiple varieties. I'm still in the process of figuring out what my favorite varieties are. And then once I figure that out, I'll just do, now of course the tomatoes and peppers and stuff, I'll always grow a lot of those. But the things like the eggplants, the cucumbers, things like that, once I figure out the varieties that are our favorites and produce well here, I won't keep growing tons of them. I'll stick with my one variety. And also that'll make it a lot easier for seed saving. So Aswad eggplant is what I'm trying this year. It's a large variety and it's supposed to be sweet and tender. Camo, not sure if that's how you say it, but it's another variety I'm growing this year. And then ping tongue, I grew this variety last year, but my eggplant did not do well. I think it was another one of those things that got chopped down with the weed eater. All right, squash and pumpkins, which they're all considered squash, but squash is my next category. So I got just a green zucchini, Ford hook zucchini, early prolific straight neck squash. I don't like crook neck squash, so I do straight neck squash. I like them a lot better. These also I planted all my squash plants along my fence last year, so none of them made, and I'm hoping that was the reason why, because they literally didn't even grow. So I'm hoping it was the soil was the problem and they'll do better in the actual garden. Patisson Golden Marbre Scallop, however you say that. I'm excited, really excited to try these scallop ones because they had really good reviews about how good they tasted. Tondo Scuro di Piacenza. That's my butchered attempt at pronouncing this. Another one that had really, really good reviews, said they were better than your standard zucchini or squash. A white scallop squash. I like all the interesting things. Now pumpkins, kind of get a little overboard with the pumpkins. I don't know where all these are going to grow, because pumpkins, if you don't know, they spread like crazy. They grow everywhere. They take up a lot of room. So not sure what we're going to do with all these pumpkins. Black Futsu, a very pretty, interesting pumpkin. And I did find out my baby, the 1-year-old baby James, he loves pumpkins, so I'm planning on trying to preserve a lot of these pumpkins. New England Sugar Pie Pumpkin. Lady Godiva, which this one is a hull-less. The seeds are hull-less, so they're really good to do for, sorry, my foot's going to sleep. They're really good for doing for roasting pumpkin seeds. That's why I got this variety, because we love pumpkin seeds. So, Lady Godiva. Moringa squash, pumpkin, flat white boar. I really hope this one does good. I'm super excited about it, just even for decorating. It looks really, really pretty. But it's also perfect for pies and baking. Jardale pumpkin. This is a beautiful, kind of like greenish blue pumpkin. I hope it does well because I think they're so pretty. And then I have 2 winter squash varieties. Sweet Dumpling is a winter squash, and then Table Bush King is an acorn squash. So I got those 2. I got some melons, a sweet passion. I think this is like a cantaloupe maybe. It doesn't say, but it's a sweet passion melon. Got Wilson's sweet watermelon. This is a new one for me. And then a crimson sweet watermelon. I planted this one last year, but again, these were not planted in the garden bed and they did not grow at all. So I'm hoping that with some better soil, these things will perform well.
Mommy,
What?
I like the other ones beside that one.
Okay, good.
I like that one.
Good.
I like that green one
Good.
better. Daddy likes the green ones.
Okay, good. And then I have some winter things, and then I have a ton of flowers and herbs. So, and I have a dedicated herb bed, big, huge. It's like 4 by 20 maybe, just for my herbs. So I'm really excited about that. I got Paradiso Super Duper Echinacea. Gotta figure out where to put all these things now. Yarrow. I have a couple of different varieties of yarrow. This is Ceres Queen, Double Diamond yarrow, Genovese basil, Cardinal basil. Got both. And then I have also some seeds from a purple basil that I grew last year. So I'll have a few different basil varieties. Common chives, mountain mint, yellow toothache plant. If you've never heard of this one, it's really interesting. The leaves, I don't know about the little heads on it, but the leaves, if you chew on them, it actually makes like where you're chewing go numb. I tried it and it really did. Very weird, like almost tingly numb, but it's a very interesting plant. I thought it was really pretty too. So yellow toothache plant. Another basil, I knew I had another one. This is Emily basil. This is the one I grew last year as well, and I liked it a lot. It was a good basil. Borage, an interesting little herb. Dill. Cumin, which...
Oh, Mommy. I think this one blows.
Maybe so, I don't know.
Yeah.
Horehound. I'm hoping the horehound does good. This is really good for coughs. So a lot of these things, you can use them to make like a tea. You can steep the herbs, make a tea. So horehound is one I'm excited to try. Wild thyme. I grew some of this last year, and thyme is the kind of thing that like you don't have to plant a ton of it, because once it gets established, it just kind of, it's there, you know. So I'm gonna plant a few more of these probably and try to preserve some, but I do still have some of this from last year. Dara flowering carrot. This is just a, it's basically just for flowers. So this is actually gonna go in my flower garden. It's in the wrong spot. Green purslane, it's something that you can add to like salads and stuff. So it's in the wrong section too. Roman chamomile and German chamomile. Chamomiles are both very useful. If you don't know, they're very calming. They're in a lot of like sleep and calming kind of herbal things. So these would be good to make teas out of for a nighttime tea. Stevia, one of those novelty things that I just wanted to plant and try. Stevia is a sweet leaf, sweeter than sugar. You can dry them and grind them. It would be green because it's not processed, but just a novelty item. Sweet mace or Mexican mint. This was another mint that people said was great in teas and other drinks and stuff. Like the flavor of it, so this is what I'm trying. Spotted bee balm, fennel, bronze fennel, and I have 2 calendulas, Snow Princess and Strawberry Blonde. Strawberry Blonde, I have some in there already, and they are gorgeous plants, so I'm excited about both of these. And calendula is very good for like your skin and stuff, the flowers, so I'm excited to try those. And onto the flowers. Now, I will admit, these, I got 2 packs of these because that's how excited. I think that as far as what I'm planting, I am most excited about planting these. And I'll need to get my notebook and show kind of like my dream for my raised bed gardens, but these are Blushing Susie Black-Eyed Susan Vine, and I am going to get a, we're going to build an archway to go into my raised bed gardens and have these growing over them. I'm super, super excited. I hope that they grow well and my vision comes to life because I'm so excited about these. And also, like, I'm going to have dedicated flower garden bed. So all these flowers will be in my flower garden bed. Let me see where they end. So I have, and I got some different varieties and different heights and things because I want to have fresh flowers throughout the summer. So I got Blue Monday Sage Salvia, purple. There's Madeira flowering carrot. Scabiosa zinnias. Zinnias are one of those like fail-proof flowers that grow really well. And I thought these were pretty. Chinese wallflower. It's an interesting looking just head on it just to add some interest and color. Orange Flame Marigold. I grew these last year and they grew super, super well. I had to pull out the mounds of them to plant my winter things. It was so hard to pull them out because they were still gorgeous, like blooming like crazy. Huge mounds. So Orange Flame Marigold was a definite winner. This was one of my free seed packets, some yellow Canary Bird Zinnias. Bright Lights Cosmos, these did well also. This is a aster, a pale pink dwarf Milady aster. They did not grow super well, but I'm gonna try them again. I think it was the soil, again, we had in my herb bed last year. The soil was not that great. I think it was way too acidic because all the herbs I planted in there pretty much died. So hopefully I'm gonna do better with that soil this year. Rainbow Plume Mix Celosia. They don't have a picture, but they were pretty. Mandarin Orange Gomphrena. Just a bunch of flowers. A white zinnia. This is buckwheat. It is really pretty blooming flowers. A pseudo grain, but it was really pretty. It doesn't really go with the flowers though. Another Polar Bear Zinnia free packet. Cherry Brandy Rudbeckia. This is similar looking to a sunflower, a smaller version, and it's really, really dark, like dark red. It looks like a good fall flower. Tequila Sunrise Snapdragons. Snapdragons are really good for adding some height to flower arrangements, so that's why I got these. I'm also really excited about these sunflowers, Hopi Black Dye sunflowers. They're used for making natural dye. I'm really excited to try them. I hope they grow well. And I love all of these pink. I actually have a lot of these pink Cosmos. I have Fizzy Rose Picotee. I think I have 2 packets of those. Double Dutch Rose. There's my other Fizzy Rose Picotee. Rosetta and Rubenza. So these are all pink shades of Cosmos. So I'm really excited about these. I hope they grow well. I grew some last year and they were in that same bed that had the really bad soil. So they grew, but they didn't do great.
I was matching these pink ones.
Okay.
I love pink.
I know, they're so beautiful.
Yeah.
Salmon Janina Asters, which these are so pretty. And again, I had last year all my herbs and all my flowers in that same bed with the horrible dirt that killed everything. So I'm hoping that these do well. They grew a little bit and I might have got like 2 tiny flowers off of them before they died. But they're really beautiful and somehow I ended up with 2 packets of them. Chrysanthemum, Golden Ball, I just thought they were really pretty, interesting, you know. Stastis, this is Pacific Mix Stastis. It's just good for adding like some color and some difference to flower arrangements. So that's why I got this. And then this pink Dandelion. Dandelion is good for like adding to salads and tea. It's really actually very beneficial and edible. And also I thought these flowers were pretty. So that is what I'm growing. And I do have some old seeds that I had saved. I'm gonna see if any of them will germinate. Some Tabasco peppers, which I use to make pepper vinegar. Eric loves. Some habaneros, some ghost peppers. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm planting. And then as far as the things that I'm still fixing to plant for the early spring, late winter garden, because we will have cold weather probably up until the beginning of March. I got these Lillian's Caseload peas to try because Mariama loves peas, Eric loves peas. No, you don't like peas, do you?
No.
Baby James loves peas and Eric loves peas. So I want to try some peas. These had really, really, really good reviews. So hopefully they'll grow well. Some other things that like would work for mix-ins for salads. I just planted a whole bunch of lettuce and it has come up. So some other things to mix in, some lovage, some watercress, sorrel, chervil. I don't know how you say this, but these two had really, really rave reviews. I'm super excited to try them. Tatsoi and Chijimasai. Don't know, but both of these had really good reviews. They're supposedly like a sweet green. I'm excited to try them. I'm gonna plant some of these probably in the next couple of days out in the garden. And then also, let's see what else, some cilantro. And I have out there growing right now, I have lettuce, I have carrots, 2 beds of carrots. Some of them haven't come up yet. I hope they'll have time to make. We have mustard greens, we have turnips. I planted beets, but it looked like something went and ate all of my beet seeds out of the garden. Like everywhere I planted a beet seed, there was a little hole in the garden. I don't know if they're all gone and they haven't come up yet. So I did get some more to start, and I'm gonna start them indoors. I read or watched a video or something that birds love beet seeds. I don't know how they know they're there, but apparently something knew it was there because something looked like it ate all of them. And I will start most of these indoors. I'm going to start them this week. My tomatoes, my peppers, the, what else? The tomatoes and peppers, the eggplant. Those things will all start indoors. You plant them, you start them from seed 4 to 6 weeks before you're ready to plant them in the ground. And then the other things like the pumpkins, the squash, the cucumbers, the watermelons, those I probably will start indoors, but like a week or 2 before I'm ready to plant them, because they only take 3 or 4 days to come up, and you don't want those to get root bound. They're very, very sensitive to transplanting. You have to be super careful with them. But that's the plan. So I hope you like get all inspired and excited like I am for planting some things and doing some gardening. I have a video from last year of planting all my seeds. Shows my process, my grow light setup. I will link to those and do some cards for my grow light setup, my video last year of planting my seeds. So be sure and check those out if you're new to starting your plants from seeds, because it is kind of a, learning curve. You got to do the right things or else they're not going to grow. And we're excited, aren't we? As far as my garden goals for this year, my goal is obviously to improve my soil and so that my plants will grow better. Like I had so much problems with those things last year. A lot of my stuff didn't grow. To grow as much of our food as possible. So that's why I have all of this stuff, because I really, really want to grow and raise as much of what we eat as possible. And then along with that, to preserve it. So preserving the food is something that I'm admittedly not that great at. I plant it and tend to it and pick it and bring it in, and sometimes it just rots on my counter because it takes so much time and energy to preserve it, and you're out there working the whole time. So that's something that I'm hoping to do better this year at, and also just eating as much of it as we can before it goes bad. So those are my goals. Anything else? Did I have any other goals?
No.
Improving my soil, growing as much as possible, preserving it. So another goal with my garden this year is I'm trying to learn how to be more efficient with it. I want to do some succession planting, however you say that word, planting, which means like, okay, so say, let me think of what you would do this with. Cucumbers. Cucumbers, they grow, they make, and they kind of peter out. Squash is another one. They grow, they do really well, and then they kind of peter out. So like you would plant 4 cucumbers now, and then maybe in 4 weeks you would plant 4 more cucumbers, and then in 4 weeks you would plant 4 more cucumbers. Maybe not cucumbers, but you get the idea, to where, this crop makes, when it's starting to die, you have a new crop to go in, and then when that one's starting to die, you have a new crop to go in, to where you get a consistent crop all year long. We have a very long growing season. Our gardens, we can grow typically from around the middle to end of March, maybe a little later. all the way up until, you know, usually October. This year we didn't get a frost until January. So now it does get too cool to grow a lot of things, but we have a very long growing season and you can get a lot of crops in that time. Green beans is one that, which of course you don't grow seeds for those, but we have a long enough growing season to get 2 batches of green beans, 2 batches of like pink eye purple whole peas. So that is one of my goals, is to be more organized and more planned about succession planting to maximize my efficiency in my garden. And also along with that is rotating to where, like, I know if I plant this at this time, this is around when it should mature, and I can have something ready to put in there when that comes out to just really maximize the production and the efficiency of the garden and the space that we have. And then the last one, of course, is preserving what we grow, not letting it rot on my counter, but doing a better job at preserving it. One of the things I'm gonna do this year, I've seen a lot about this, the tomatoes can be so overwhelming at times. So I've seen people do this, and what I'm gonna try to do is, if I'm getting a lot of tomatoes, and it's mainly because you're trying to deal with all the other stuff too. You can dip them in some boiling water, take the skins off, and then freeze them whole just like that. And later in the fall, in the winter, when you're not getting all this stuff out of your garden, you can take those tomatoes out and then make like spaghetti sauce with them and stuff like that. So I'm gonna try to do that and hopefully be able to keep up with my stuff better. It's always a struggle to keep up with all of it when it's coming in. So I hope this inspired you and made you excited. Go check out Baker Creek. I really love their seeds. I love their website, and they have beautiful pictures, the reviews you can read, so definitely go check them out. And I'll give y'all some updates once these all get planted and growing, and we'll see how they all do. Oh, one more thing, this is important. I very highly encourage you to get a notebook and start a gardening journal, because you will learn so much about gardening along your way as you're doing it. I keep up with, and I didn't start this until the end of the summer last year, but I write down the date and I write what I'm doing. Like if I'm planting my seeds this week, I'll write down the date and I'll write planted tomato seeds and what varieties I planted pepper seeds and what varieties I planted, and then I will record when I transplant them in the garden. So I'll be able to, after, you know, as the days go and as the years go, I'll be able to look back and see, okay, well, these were 4 weeks when I transplanted them. These were 6 weeks when I transplanted them. These I didn't get transplanted soon enough, whatever the case may be. And then I also can record how each plant performed, so that I'll know, because I'm not going to remember. I know that. So I can go back and look at my thing and say, oh, well, these didn't make very well, I'm not going to grow them again, or these split a lot, I'm not going to grow those. So I would really encourage you to start a garden log, garden journal, something like that, to keep up with what you plant, how it performs, even if you want to like weigh your produce to see which produces the most of whatever it is. That's my tip for you. So happy gardening, and I can't wait to get all this stuff growing. And let me know what you're planting. If you're planting different stuff from this, do you like heirlooms? Do you like hybrids? I know a lot of people like hybrids just because they're easier and they're more consistent, but I just love the heirlooms. It's just part of my nature. So thank you for joining today, and I hope that you are very inspired for gardening, and I can't wait to see how all these things grow. So talk to you later. See you in the next video. Bye.